which one of you wants to talk about how loans work in life insurance, phantom income potentially being a problem, although it's a problem in both policies, ironically, or could be.
No.
But who wants to take that on?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. So when we talk about using life insurance, especially when we're using life insurance for income in retirement, but in this case for infinite banking, if I'm always, not always, but I tend to push the limit up to the upper limits of how much I can get as a loan. I can push it to a place where, again, especially if I'm never paying off that loan, right? If that's the message I'm hearing is you can take the loan and don't ever pay it off.
Okay, so this is important. A loan that you don't have to pay off. How in the world does that exist?
Perfect. Okay, so the cash value inside the life insurance policy is acting as collateral for the loan. So it doesn't go anywhere when I take the loan. It stays there, continues to grow and compound. But I took the loan and I'm accruing interest on the loan, right? The insurance company gives me the choice. Do I want to pay the interest? They'll send me a bill, right? Each year on my anniversary, they're going to send, with my annual bill, they're going to say, hey, you have a loan balance of this much, therefore your interest is this much. And I can pay that, but if I don't, then all they're going to do is just capitalize that interest on top of the loan. Now I carry forward with a higher loan balance, but there are no penalties. There aren't any additional problems with that. It's just that I now have compounding interest on my loan side. But I also have compounding interest on my cash value side. So that's how it creates that scenario. And especially, again, because they paint this picture of always having this positive interest rate arbitrage. Just on, because you mentioned phantom income earlier. So let's talk about the result if it does go awry. Because if I ended up taking too much loan out and it may trigger my policy to lapse. Or in other words, if my loan balance ever gets as high as my cash value balance, then that would, the insurance company never wants it to get too far. So they would call the loan, use your cash value to pay off that loan. Now your policy went away.
Mm-hmm. So it's been surrendered. You no longer have a death benefit. The policy is no longer in existence. Yep. You do have a gift, though.
From the IRS. So at the end of that year, the insurance company is going to now send you a 1099. Well, why a 1099? Because you have cash value in your policy. It did grow above and beyond what you had originally put in. And if you were to have taken that out as a withdrawal, you would have been taxed on whatever the growth was at ordinary income rates, right? Well, but you didn't take a withdrawal, right? Well, then why? Well, because you basically did. You took, when the insurance company triggered that, basically calling the loan that I described a minute ago, using the cash value to pay off the loan, essentially that's what you did. You withdrew your cash and used it to pay off that loan. So now you have all of this growth in your policy that you didn't pay income on when you were taking income as a loan. But now all of a sudden, all of that becomes due. So if you have whatever $1 million in your cash value off of the original $250,000 that you had put in, and you pulled all that income out, you pulled out quote unquote too much, then, and that triggered the policy to surrender. Now you're going to get a 1099 at the end of that year for $750,000 of growth that is now taxable at ordinary income rates, but you already spent the money.
Yeah. So, right? So now all of a sudden you're having to come up with that money for like whatever the tax is due on that, which by the way, could also increase your overall tax bracket. And suddenly you've created a real mess. So the moral of this story is that has to be planned and prepared. You just have to make sure that's never in play. There's really simple ways to do that, right? The best way is to, one, make sure that you fund the policy appropriately. And then two, you're just watching the way that you pull money out on the back end. And by doing those things, you can like really easily mitigate that. But that is a problem. And again, the whole lifers would say, like, by using it in that way, which is ironic because the same thing applies in the infinite banking world, just in a little bit different methodology, right?